Okay, we're recording. All right, guys, so welcome to week 3. It's already week 3. We're already halfway through, I guess, sort of, kind of. After tonight, it'll be halfway through, I guess. So welcome, week 3 of Director Bound. So tonight we're going to talk about a couple different things. But before we get started, does anybody have anything positive they want to share from this past week of vision boards and power hours? Is everybody enjoying the power hour? Yeah? Yes, no, maybe? I saw everybody's vision boards. They're awesome. Yay! Hopefully it helps you focus. It does me. I really like having vision boards. Does anybody have comments about putting their vision boards together? No? Quiet. All right, guys. Okay. I'm not going to force anybody to talk. So I hope that the Google homework makes sense to everybody and that you're all following along with it okay. Power hour, I cannot stress it enough. We are also super busy, crazy in our lives. And even some of us have to break it out into just the little 15-minute increments instead of doing the whole hour at one time, especially those of us with little kids at home. Sometimes you can't do an hour, right? So just breaking it up into those little 15-minute increments, getting your little timer out and setting it for 15 minutes. Usually, most days, you can kind of get them occupied for about 15 minutes. Sometimes that doesn't even work, but we know how that goes. So I can't say enough about power hours. So, all right. So I have a little video that I want to show you guys. But kind of before we get started here, if I can remember how to do this. Okay. Share with sound, screen 2, I think. Okay, can y'all see Rory Vaden there? Did y'all see the YouTube video? Can y'all give me thumbs up? Yes, we can see Rory. Okay, awesome. All right, here we go. I'm gonna play it. Hopefully you can hear it.
The last time that you were in front of a set of escalators and some stairs, did you take the stairs? Hey there, friends. This is Rory Vaden, co-founder of Southwestern Consulting and New York Times best-selling author of Take the Stairs. It's kind of an interesting question, right? And for most of us, or most people, choose the escalator. But why is that? Why do we choose the escalator? I think a lot of times we don't even really think about it. We just kind of get on the escalator and do it. But if you study successful people, then you start to realize that success has almost nothing to do with a person's age, nothing to do with their ethnicity, their religious background, their racial profile, like their religious affiliation, or even their education level. But the one thing that every single happy, positive, successful person has in common is that successful people have formed the habit of doing things they know they should be doing, even when they don't feel like doing them. In other words, success in anything that matters to us in our lives is not about taking the escalator. It's about taking the stairs, about doing those things that we know we should be doing even when we don't feel like doing them. It reminds me of a story that I heard growing up because I'm from Colorado, and in Colorado we are sort of world famous for the Rocky Mountains. And to the western part of the state we have the Great Rocky Mountains. What a lot of people don't realize is that as a state, Colorado is divided almost exactly in half, and to the eastern part of the state are the Great Kansas Plains. It's very, very flat. Well, because of that unique topographical landscape, Colorado is actually one of the only places in the world that has both buffalo and cows in close proximity to one another. And there's a fabulous lesson to be learned about positivity from studying the way that these two creatures respond to storms. So when storms come, storms almost always brew from the west, and then what happens is they roll out towards the east. And cows do something that's very natural. A cow can sense that a storm is coming from this direction, and so a cow will try to run east to run away from the storm. Now, the only thing about that is that if you know anything about cows, you know they're not real fast. And so while the cows try to run east away from the storm catches up with them rather quickly. Well, without knowing any better, the cows continue to try to outrun the storm. But instead of outrunning the storm, they actually run with the storm. maximizing the amount of pain and time and frustration they experience from that storm. Isn't that stupid? Well, unfortunately, humans do the same thing all the time. We spend so much of our lives constantly trying to avoid the inevitable challenges that come along with the difficult circumstances that our very own choices have led us to be in. And we typically gravitate towards the path of least resistance. We typically move towards the escalator. We try to run away from the storm. We try to run away from challenges. And the key insight that ultra-performing, successful people have made consciously that many of the rest of us have not yet is this. Ultra-performers know problems that are procrastinated on are only amplified. Problems procrastinated on are amplified. Waiting always makes it worse. What buffalo do is very unique for the animal kingdom. You see, buffalo will wait for the storm to cross right over the crest of the peak of the mountaintop. And as the storm rolls over the ridge, buffalo will turn, and instead of running away from the storm, they will run at the storm. And by running at the storm, they run straight through it, which actually minimizes the amount of pain and time and frustration they experience from that storm. Such a great metaphor for positivity, right? Because there's lots of, we don't always get to choose whether or not we have storms in this life. There's bad things that happen. There's difficult things that come up. And most of us just try to, run away from the difficulties and the pain. And what ultra performers do is they be the buffalo. They charge directly into the storm. And we call that, and Take the Stairs, the pain paradox. And the paradox, it's from the paradox principle of sacrifice, which simply says, easy short-term choices lead to difficult long-term consequences. Meanwhile, difficult short-term choices lead to easy long-term consequences. So the great paradox here is what seems easy in life, eating whatever we want, saying whatever we want, buying things we can't afford on credit, they seem easy in the short term. Those are the vehicles to the more difficult life. And inversely, the things that seem challenging and difficult, putting in the extra work, investing in our own self-development or education, like working out when we don't feel like it, or choosing a positive attitude in the face of negativity. Those things seem difficult, and they are difficult in the short term, but those are the very vehicles that lead to the easier life. And so the question comes down to, can you be the buffalo? Are you willing to choose the choice that most people don't make? Are you willing to take the stairs? Can you choose to have a positive attitude even when the world around you is maybe collapsing or just feels difficult, or you're surrounded by negativity? But that choice, to be the buffalo, that choice to take the stairs is the choice that sets you free. It's the choice that makes you happy. It's the choice that brings you success. So my friends, the next time that you are in front of a set of escalators and some stairs, take the stairs, because success means doing the things we don't always feel like doing.
How do I stop? There we go. Okay. Have y'all heard that before? Have you heard the Be the Buffalo before? We in our book club that we had, that we are not doing anymore, but we read the book Take the Stairs. If you've never read this book before, I highly, highly recommend it. If you have read it before, pull it out, read it again. I think I've read this like 3 different times, and I'm feeling the urge to go read it again, which is why I think I decided to choose this to talk to you guys about tonight really quick. But it's true what he said, right? We always try to take the easy route, and the easy route always leads to the tougher life, right? So, it's easier to stop at McDonald's on your way home, but that doesn't pay off well at the end, right? So I love the are you going to be the cow or the buffalo? And so choosing to be the buffalo or choosing to take the stairs versus the escalator, right? He said that problems that you procrastinate on only will make it worse. If you make the difficult short-term choices so that you can have the easier life instead of making the easy short-term choices that result in a harder life. So make those difficult short-term choices. And so as far as how this goes with our business, right? How many of you have gone an entire day or several days or even a week not working your business because something's happened in your life? There's something going on and you put your business to the side, right? I have. I think that we all can probably say that we have. You're sick, your kids are sick. You have 20 million errands. You've got soccer games and basketball practice, and you've got this and this and this and this, right? There's so many other things that have taken over your life in that particular time. And you just say, you know what, I can't do my business today. The business, it's not going to happen today. The ultra performers in this world, the difference is that they just don't let that stuff get in the way. It's not that they don't have that stuff. I used to tell myself all the time, oh, well, the people at the top, they don't have little kids. That's what I would always say. They don't have little kids. They don't have health problems. They don't have the same health problems I do. They don't have this or that or the other or whatever. Like I came up with all these excuses to justify how they're way up there and I'm not, right? Truth is, every single one that I've talked to, they all have just as many problems as each and every one of us, right? We all have different problems, different things that affect us. They all have stuff just like we do, but the difference is that they don't let it stop them. They will, if they had a day of 20 million errands, guess who's staying up late that night? The ultra performers, right? They stay up late, they push through, and they just don't let anything get in their way because, remember those vision boards? That's right in front of they are going to do anything that it takes to get to there. And so this book, it's all about working really, really hard and pushing through so that you can get through that and then you can have the easier life, right, at the end. So I do highly recommend this book, you guys. Lots of things on YouTube that you can watch by him. He's really awesome. Anyway, I encourage each and every one of you to take the stairs. Don't let anything get in your way of what those goals are of being a director. And because you're going to have stuff that gets in your way. All of us, we all have stuff that gets in our way. The difference between the ones that are at the top and the ones who are not is that they push through, they find a way, right? That's the difference. It's the only difference. So tonight we're going to talk about host coaching, which is one of those steps in our businesses that some of us, we don't do, right? It's one of those things that it's like, oh, I really need to do it, but I got this and this and this and this and this to do instead. And so you procrastinate. And then because you don't do it, then it grows bigger and bigger and bigger, right? It becomes that thing that it's like, oh, I haven't talked to my host. And like, we need to go over this. And it just becomes this big, huge thing. Have y'all heard that eat that frog, right? That's all about procrastinating. And so host coaching is one of those things that if you do it each and every day, it's like nothing. It's a little itty bitty thing that doesn't take much of your time, but if you procrastinate and don't do it, it becomes this big, huge thing, right? So host coaching is by far, with the exception of bookings, you have to have bookings, right? But host coaching, I think, is one of the most important pieces of a successful business. If you don't host coach well, then I don't think that you're going to have a successful business. I really flat out think it is that important. Host coaching is just essential. So I'm kind of excited that I get to talk about host coaching because I do just think that it's so important. So I kind of am going to nerd out on you a little bit because I do like it so much. But the one thing that I want you to remember, we talk a lot about belief in Director Bound, belief in yourself. A lot of your hosts, they do not believe in themselves, okay? So how many of you have had a host that says, I've never had a good party before. My friends never buy anything. I've never had a good party before, et cetera, right? We've all heard that from hosts, and it's because they don't believe that they can do it. They've had a couple of bad parties, so therefore that reinforces their belief that they can't have good parties. So then I can't have good parties, right? Well, your job as a consultant is to believe in them and to encourage them and to show them how. If they've never had a good party before, it's because they haven't been coached on how to have a good party, right? So if you form a partnership with them, if you like, hey, you know what? You just haven't worked with me before. That's why you haven't had a good party. You have to show them that you've got this, right? And that if they do what you ask them to, then they're going to have a good party. Okay, so that's the number one step with host coaching, is to get your host to believe that they can have a good party, and to get them to understand that they need to listen to you and follow what you're saying. You need to show them that you've got this, you're in charge. If you do what I say, we're going to have a great party. Does that make sense? Like, you have to be the leader of that bus, right? Get her on your bus and you guys go have a good party together. If you don't have your host on board with you on that bus, then it is really hard to have a good party. Every once in a while, you'll have a good party with the host who doesn't do her part, like you'll get lucky. But most of the time, if your host is not helpful, your parties are gonna just tank, okay? The host is essential. So one of the homework assignments for tonight, for this week, is an audio training from Conference, and they talk a lot about host coaching with in-home parties. So if you are an in-home person, make sure you listen to that training, because it's really good, and they talk about really great ways to host coach in-home parties. I'm a virtual person, right? So I'm going to talk about host coaching in virtual parties tonight, but I do encourage you to listen to that conference call, because it's really, really good. So I actually do my parties on Facebook in mega party groups. So all of my hosts go together. So each week I only do one party. They all go in one big party. And I encourage them to invite around 50 people. So that's the number that I throw out to them, is to invite 50. They're not going to get 50 to show up, most likely, but I encourage them to invite 50. I encourage them to not friend dump. Don't just invite don't add all your friends to the group. Couple things. One, Facebook will stick them right and they'll block them. They're not going to let them do that anymore. Facebook doesn't like it. It also shows their friends that, oh, she just added all of her friends. She doesn't really care if I come or not. People want to feel special. They want to feel like they're being invited to this exclusive, secret, fun thing. That's why I do closed groups. It kind of makes it feel like, ooh, although I think they call it private now, not closed. Anyway, Facebook has changed what they call our groups. But you want them to just invite a specific number of people, okay? And I do mail host packets to my virtual consultants. Listen to me. Hopefully there'll be a virtual consultant. To my virtual host. I feel like it's super, super important for them to have those catalogs in their hands. And if you feel like you want to ask your host first, because some hosts are not going to share the catalogs. They're just not. So it's okay to ask first, but I just have like this system, and I just automatically send them out, because it's just easier for me to do that instead of trying to wait and do they want it? Do they not want it? Do they not want it? I just send them. But I send 2 catalogs. I send a recruiting brochure, 1 order form, because they can make copies if they want to, and I send my host bingo card. Host bingo is in the files of the Director Bound page. I love, love, love host bingo. It's how I host coach. There's tons and tons of things on the host bingo card. If they do all those things, they're going to have an amazing party. So I'm just constantly checking in with them, like, okay, how many squares have you crossed off? And then they'll say, oh, well, I haven't hardly done anything. And I'll say, okay, well, let's look at it. How about this and this and this? Can you try that? I'll give them 1 or 2 things and say, let's cross those off. And so then they'll do those things. And I kind of check back and forth with them all week with their bingo card. It is super important to ask your host to collect orders outside of Facebook. So sometimes they get this thought in their head that everything has to come from Facebook. That's not true. It's just like an in-home party. Not everything has to come from the people who come to the party. You can collect orders before the party and during the party and after the party, right? Same thing for a virtual party. Remind them that there are people in the real world. Take that catalog and show it to real world people. So that's a bingo card, that's a bingo square for me, is if they collect a certain amount of outside orders, then they can cross off a bingo square. But some consultants will offer, if you collect 3 orders before the party or 5 orders before the party, or a certain dollar amount. If you collect $200 in orders outside of the party, then they'll give them a prize of some kind, right? So come up with something that encourages your host to collect those orders outside of the Facebook party. Make sure at the end of the party that you check in with them again. You're like, okay, so did you ask everybody? Did you ask your spouse's coworkers? Did you ask your tennis partner, your kids' friends, your kids' friends' parents, I should say, you know what I mean by that. But reach out to them and just kind of remind them, okay, who have we forgot? Did you ask your sister and your mom and things like that? And continue to build your relationship with the host. So checking in with them during the weeks and days before the party to see how excited they are to get started. Assure the host that her party is your top priority, and making sure you want to make sure that everybody has a good time, right? You want your host to feel special, and you want to just always be working on that relationship. So even before the party begins, you want to make sure that you're checking in with them periodically. Susan always says this, like if you plan a date with someone, and that the date's like in 2 weeks or something, and you don't talk to that person for 2 weeks until the day that they're supposed to show up at your door, you're pretty much sure that person's not going to show up at the door, right? Like they're not going to show up. So make sure that if you book a party 3 weeks out, a month out, that you check in with that host periodically before the party begins, or they'll think that they forgot about you. And they most likely will forget about you for sure, right? So get your host to fill out a wish list. I can't stress this enough. It's so, so important to get them to do a wish list, because you want to go over the wish list with them and come up with a plan of how are we going to get you all this stuff on your wish list, right? Maybe a lot of the things on the wish list are in the starter kit. That's a great transition into that conversation, right? But coming up with, okay, in order to get the majority of the things on your wish list, we need to have $1,000 party. So there's our goal, right? We need to have $1,000 party. So having a goal helps your host really hyper focus, right? Let's see. Don't forget that some of the items that they want on their wish list can come from parties that are booked from their parties, right? So let's say their wish list is just, like most of our hosts, right? Long, and they would need a $6,000 party to get all of it for free. Remind them, hey, if let's work together. Let's think of some of your friends who would like to have parties, so that when they have a party, you can get these 3 things right here. You can get those at 50% off, right? See how that works? And then, so that's wish lists. They're just super, super important. And then also I use that wish list to give the host things to post during her party. So I feel like it's super, super important for your host to share things that they love in the party. Because if it's just you talking about the things that you like, their friends are going to kind of check out. But I guarantee you, when the host starts talking about something that she loves, guess what everybody buys in the party? What she's showing, right? So pick the things from her wish list that are good things, not the cheap things, right? And have her share about those things in the party. It's super, super important. Preparing the post for your host to post. So preparing the post for your host to post. Okay, I feel like Dr. Seuss. Did I say that right? It doesn't even sound right in my mind. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, I do this differently with all of my hosts. So some of my hosts are like really awesome at posting things and sharing things. So I don't want to give them words to use. I'll send them a picture, or I'll send them a video, and I'll say, share it in the party, tell us why you love it, kind of thing. And they come up with these fabulous post. And so they're amazing. And then I have other hosts, that's not their thing, right? Like they're like, I don't know what to say. And so I'll send them a little blurb and say, how about you say something like this? And so I'll just tell them what to say. But getting your host to put things in the party, telling them their, her favorite items is just so, so important, because it's just like being in an in-home party. When everybody starts talking about the Pampered Chef products that they like, that's what starts selling in the party, is what everybody is chit-chatting about and talking about. That's what everybody's buying. So you need to encourage the chit-chatting and the commenting in a virtual party by getting your host to share what she loves. Get your guests to do it too. I always give bonus tickets for people to share their favorite products, okay? Stay in touch with your host throughout the party. Make sure she knows how many orders does she have in, what sales level is she at. Don't ever make it negative, always positive. So even if she doesn't have any orders, like don't reach out and be like, well, you don't have any orders yet, what's the problem? You don't want to, nothing negative, right? You always keep it positive. So, if she has one order in, I'll be like, all right, we got an order in, here we go. We're off to a good start. Or if they're at like 160, you don't want to say, well, you haven't earned host benefits yet. You want to say, oh my gosh, you're only $40 away from first level of benefits. This is so exciting, isn't it? So you always want to make that positive, but make sure they know where they are, because a lot of hosts don't check their little host carts. And some of them do, man. They tell me, they're like, oh, look, they respond to me first. But most of the time they're not checking that kind of stuff. So make sure you keep them in the loop. Okay, here's a big one. Try really hard to get your host on the phone. So if you can actually have a conversation with your host, it makes such a difference in the party, because when they're on the phone with you, they're actually paying attention. They'll pay attention to what you're saying. Well, half pay attention. If they're a mom, you never get a mom's full attention, right? But you will get more of her attention than any other method of communication, right? It's just so, so important to try to do that. So one of my bingo squares is to call me when you get your catalogs, right? Call me. I can't tell you how very few actually call me though, you guys. Like virtual hosts don't like to talk on the phone. That's why they want to do a virtual party, right? Like some of them do, okay? So always try. And even if they don't call you when they get the catalogs, reach out to them and say, hey, I got a lot of stuff I want to go over. It would just be easier if we could talk on the phone. Can you chat for just a few minutes? So really, really try. But a thing that I found as a backup that works really well when I can't get them on the phone is my host coaching videos. So I do a host coaching video every single month. I do one video and I use that same video for all of my hosts for the whole month. And it's just a way to kind of have a face-to-face conversation so they can see my face, they can hear my voice, they can hear how excited I am. And I go over everything in their host packet. I go over the host benefits. And I feel like I can communicate everything that they can get much better in a video than little text messages and little messages back and forth. So if I can't get them on the phone, which is the majority of the time, sadly, then I'll send them this host coaching video, okay? So whether you do in-home parties, virtual parties, catalog parties, whatever kind of party style you are doing, I certainly hope that you are offering the opportunity to every single one of your hosts. Because guys, if they like Pampered Chef enough to host, they very well may like it enough to be a consultant, right? It's something like 90 to 95%. One of these days, I'm gonna actually look up that number, but it is a very high number of consultants were past hosts. How many of you hosted before you became a consultant? Yeah, okay, look at that, okay? So we're missing a tremendous opportunity if you're not asking your host to look into the business, okay? Remember that the kit credit, everybody knows what the kit credit is. Yes, the kit credit, you can earn up to $50 to go towards a starter kit, is a host benefit. So at least if your host hits a $300 party, you at least must offer them the opportunity at least once, because it's a host benefit. So if you don't let them know that they earned a $50 kit credit, or 25 or 50, depending on which level they hit, it's like telling them that, it's like forgetting to tell them that they got the 60% off host special, or that they got the free product, right? It's a host benefit. So it's very, very important that you let them know. When I first started doing this, offering the opportunity scared the ever living daylights out of me. So even if they earned a kit credit, I was like scared to tell them, because I didn't want them to think, oh, she's trying to recruit me. Blah, blah, blah. So anyway, so I didn't tell them because I was chicken or something. I don't know what my problem was. But I actually had somebody come back and be like, well, I really wish I would have known that I could have gotten that. And I was like, oh, so make sure that you let them know, because they won't, Pampers Chef won't go back, by the way. They won't go back and change that. I see Enrichables going in to Jenna's Meal. Check that out. Woo woo. Okay. Awesome, girl. Okay. Sorry, squirrel moment. Okay. So anyway, please make sure that you let them know about the kit credit, because it's a host benefit. Okay. Just super, super important. So I'm actually going to show you guys one of my host coaching videos. So normally at the end, we do like another motivational thing, but I felt like I really wanted to show you guys a sample of a host coaching video, because it's your homework assignment. You get to make a host coaching video and share it on the Director Bound page. Is everybody super excited? Yes. They really, really are good. It's good to have in your arsenal. I know everybody's giving me the look. I know you guys love making videos and going live on Facebook, but that's part of why we're in Director Bound, right? To challenge ourselves to do things that aren't in our wheelhouse, right? It really, really is a good thing to have in your back pocket, okay? So I think this is like 3 or 4 minutes. This one's kind of long, I don't know why. But anyway, here we go. I'm gonna share my screen again, hopefully correctly. All right, y'all see my face there? Thumbs up, we see, yes. All right. Here we go.
Hey guys, it's Jennifer. Fall is here. So excited to do a party with you guys in the month of September. So wanted to do a quick little video to send to you and go over some stuff that's in your host packet. So here's Belle, always sitting in my lap, this little one. So you'll get a cute little scarecrow in your host packet, and I'll tell you what to do with that here in just a little bit. You're also going to get 2 of our beautiful brand new catalogs. Make sure you check out the back. That's where the host benefit chart is. In the month of September, the host special is if you hit $550 or more, then they're going to add $100 more in free. So we definitely want to hit at least $550, right? And then also there are some 60% off items that you can choose from this month. When you hit 200, that's when those 60% off items will kick in. And again, at 550, they're going to add $100 more in free. So check out the chart. I will email the host special to you, so you should already have that before you get your host packet in the mail. You also are going to get a cute little mini catalog. This is a great thing to have in your bag with you all the time. So if you are talking to somebody, you can let them know you're having an online party and they can check out the catalog. You're going to get a little cover letter. It's got your shopping link on there, when your party date starts, some information on here. So have a look at this. Let me know if you have any questions. You will get 1 order form. The order form shows you what the guest special is this month. If your guests spend $80 or more in product, they can choose either the Mix and Chop or the Mix and Scraper for free. Both must-haves in your kitchen, right? These are awesome, awesome guest specials. So again, they can get to choose one of those for free. I do not have to have original order forms. They can write it down on a sticky note. You can just take a picture. They can email me, text me, call me with their order. If you have someone who likes to fill out order forms, you are more than welcome to make some copies of these if you would like. And then again, just snap a picture of it and send it to me, okay? And host bingo card. So you guys, the stuff that is on this bingo card, if you do this in your party, you're going to have a great party, okay? Bingo, there's many things on here, and if you get a bingo, you get $5 more in free product from me. If you get several bingos, you can get lots more free product. Please don't start barking, okay? She's thinking about it. Hopefully we can get through this without barking. Last, but certainly not least in your host packet is this red Everyday Better brochure. This is some information about being a consultant with the Pampered Chef. Have a look at this, you guys. Take a look at the starter kits. They are awesome and amazing. You can get up to $50 off the price of one of these starter kits. So make sure that you have a look at it. Let me know if you have any questions. If it's not for you, give it to somebody who might be interested in, right? And also, if you are thinking about it, let me know. We can actually turn this party into your grand opening party where you're going to get the host benefits and the commission. So a really, really, really great thing to do. You will really pack your kitchen with some awesome Pampered Chef. So have a look at this and make sure you reach out to me. Now, what to do with the little scarecrow, right? So first of all, it's just cute decoration. You can put it in your office, put it in your kitchen, make yourself smile, right? But what I want you to do, I want you to take a picture of yourself with your catalogs and your little scarecrow, cheese, right? Take a picture, share it on your social media accounts. It is the kind of thing that will make people stop and go, what silly thing is she up to now, right? But take a picture of yourself and share that you're having a party. Post it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you like, whatever your social media stopping grounds are, right? Post it and let everybody know that you're having a party so that they'll hop on and check it out, okay? So reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm super excited to get started. Thank you so, so much. We're going to have a great party and pamper your kitchen, okay? Bye.
Oh, that was so much fun watching myself. Okay, but that's a sample host coaching video. And I think I'll put it on the Director Bound page. So if you want to watch it again, when you're not doing other stuff or whatever. So anyway, that's part of your homework is host coaching video. There's the training from conference, and of course your power hour. So the Google form will be posted. I have it scheduled to post here in a little bit for week 3, right? Week 3. So one last thing that I wanted to mention that's brand new from Pampered Chef, when they updated the website, so they now have the host coaching tools actually in Consultants Corner. So when you set up a party, there's a host coaching checklist that you can go and use for your parties. So I kind of have a system set up that I've been doing for a long time, so I'm not using that checklist yet. But what's really cool about it is that it's attached to every party, so you can go in there and check things off as you're doing them. And then they also have like an email function thing set up right there with all of the things you could possibly be attaching, the host special, the guest special, the new consultant offer. It's all already there where you can just click and attach it to your email, so you're not having to download it to your computer and then attach it to an email. It's very, very simple. And supposedly you can also text with this as well. So if you're, because email is like the least, what's the word I'm looking for? People don't check email anymore, right? So texting is a much better method of communication than email. And so I love that you can send them a text through this little host coaching platform thing that they have. So if you haven't looked at that, go check it out. It's a really cool thing that they've put on their in Consultants Corner now. A really great way for you to keep up with what you've done in each party as far as host coaching is concerned. So if you don't have a system set up of your own, then I encourage you to go look at that and have that be the beginning of your system, right? So does anybody have questions about host coaching? Yes, ma'am.
Did you share with them, sorry, I kind of jumped on a little late. Farm Mama canning peaches like usual. Did you share with them about the checklist that you have for host coaching? Because I honestly think that is amazing. And if I would actually follow through and do all of it, I know I would have better parties.
So I do believe that that's on the Director Bound page, but I will try to remember to double check. But I did a class at our retreat where I talked about host coaching, because again, remember I told y'all I love talking about host coaching. So that was one of the classes I taught at retreat, and I did this really detailed step-by-step on this week I do this, and this week, and then 3 days before the party, and 2 days before the party. I mean, it's like really, because that's how my brain works. So it can be overwhelming for some people. So if that's overwhelming for you, don't look at it. But if you like things broken down by like step by step by step, that's how I do it. Because I don't like to have to think of the big picture. This is going to sound really strange, but if I have to think too much, then it's overwhelming, and I can't process everything that I need to get done. So I break every big thing, I break it down into all these little itty bitty steps, and I put the little itty bitty steps in my to-do list for each day on the calendar. So on my calendar, I have a to-do list that pops up. On the to-do list, it's going to say something like mail the host packet. Okay, I can mail a host packet. I don't have to think about anything else because it's already all laid out. I just mail the host packet and I'm done. Instead of thinking about, okay, I have a party that starts in 3 weeks. What all do I need to do? I need to mail a host packet. I need to do this. I need to do that, right? And that makes my brain go, ah! So I just use this checklist so that I only have to think about one little thing at a time. So there's a little bit probably more information than what you needed to know about me. But I just have to break things out into these brainless steps so that I can get it done. So that I believe it's already on there, but I'll double check so that it's not. Floor's saying no. Okay, then I will add it on there for you guys so that you can have a look at it if you want to. But again, there is also a checklist in Consultants Corner that is not so crazy as mine, but it's a really, really good list. But even if you don't use their checklist, go check out the function of how you can send messages to your host with all those little things that are already there. So I think it's just a really cool thing that they've got set up. All right, guys.
I was going to say real quick, Jennifer.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I have the echo, sorry.
It sounds good on my end.
Okay.
Oh, a little bit.
They have to have the new party tools turned on
Yes.
to see that feature. So definitely want to make sure they know to have that turned on, and then otherwise they're not going to see it. They're going to be like, what is she talking about?
She's lost her mind.
But it is really, I think it has simplified it, because to your point, they have a host coaching section, and it gives you, have you done A, B, and C, and just try to make it very, very simple. Did you send your host pack? There's 16 to-do things on there. With your host, decide a theme for the party, give instructions for creating an account and accessing the host dashboard, and then ask your host their preferred method of contact. And so anyway, I just want to make sure they know to have that turned on. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Yes, very true. It's only with the new party format. And so those of you who joined here recently, that's most likely, I think, what they've defaulted you to is the new party stuff. You've been around for a while. If you're still using the old stuff, you're going to want to switch here eventually, because it is going to go away. We've got a couple more months, I think, of being able to use it. And it took me, I was slow to switch over, but I really do like it. It really is a lot more mobile friendly. And it has some cool stuff in there that's not in the old system. So, okay, guys, anything else? I'm gonna stop recording. Oh, we have chat. What did I miss? Let's see. About how many people on average do you have that fill out a paper order form? Oh, quite a few actually. They don't mail them to me or anything, right? The host will just snap a picture. It's a lot of times it happens because I'll encourage it, take it to work and leave it in the break room kind of thing. And that's when I'm noticing those is they'll say, oh, I have a couple orders from work. And then it always seems to be on the order forms.
Gotcha. I just didn't know if they shared the link so they could just go straight to the website, but I have so many people that are still just that paper people. And maybe it's because I'm a paper person, but I always tell them, like, I don't need it. They can just go right to the link, or they can just write it down or call me or whatever. But I think that
your older generations, they like the paper. So I always want to make sure they have every possible way to send me an order. I don't want the fact that they're freaked out about putting an order online to stop them from giving me an order. So I just include one order form, and then they can make copies. But I do actually get quite a few on paper, which is kind of weird, right, in this day and age. Sadie, could you email me a sample of your cover letter? I will, it's a Word doc. I can put it in files. I'll put it in the files of the Director Brown page so everybody can have it. More than welcome to use that and update it. Okay, anything else, guys? Okay, we're done like early. How about that? I'm gonna stop recording. I can remember how. Okay, here we go.